What's up, guys, and welcome back to Adventure World. My name is Kelly. Today I'm finally doing a major upgrade to the Tacoma. I'm getting rid of my Harbor Freight Apache rifle case here that I hold all my recovery gear in for a major improvement in usability and functionality. Stay tuned. So this is it. This is the replacement for the Apache rifle case. This is the Gearpod from Leitner. Now, there are two major reasons why I'm replacing the Apache rifle case with the Gearpod here, and one is capacity. There is nearly 3 times the capacity from what I was getting out of the rifle case, because I keep all my recovery gear in there, and a lot of that is big, bulky, and it just sucks a lot of space. Well, there's a lot of space in this, and I'm really curious to see how much gear I can get in this without going crazy. And the second main reason is just functionality. This is a lot easier to get into, especially when locked. My Apache rifle case has a padlock on it for security, and it's a pain to get that thing on and off, especially when it's been raining. It kind of gets a little rusty, and it's just not a great system. This is a great system. It's a keyed latch. All they do is take a quarter turn and the whole thing flips up. And honestly, this is just fast and convenient. And now obviously the downfall of more capacity means just a larger item in itself. It measures out to be 49 inches long, looks like 18.5 inches wide, 12 and a quarter inches tall. So it is a larger unit, and it's going to stand out a little bit more than the rifle case, but I think it's well worth the sacrifice. Now, don't get me wrong, this rifle case here has been great. I really haven't had any issues with it, except when I open it up, I tend to flip it all the way over, and it crushes my antenna, and then it's really hard to get this lid closed again. And as you can see, it is just completely jam-packed, and I have zero room to expand any of my recovery gear if I want to keep it in this box here. Another main reason this thing is just kind of a pain in the butt is that the way it's mounted on here, I drilled through the bottom, which is another bad thing for waterproofing. And then I basically put bolts through the rack into the case, and then have 4 hand thread screws to go onto it to kind of adhere it down to the roof rack here, which is not the best mounting solution that I possibly could have had, but it worked at the time. I always thought I would expand on it and kind of come up with a easier to remove mounting system, but just never did. So this has been how it's mounted, and it is a pain to remove. Mounting the Gearpod should be really straightforward. It's got this very innovative mounting solution. It's 2 plates, and then it's got a latch system that you latch from the inside, which is great because it's very accessible, even if this is full of gear. It's got one of the nicest manuals I've ever seen. All the included hardware and mounting tools should be very simple. All you're gonna need is a tape measure and some Allen keys. Another incredibly innovative thing that Leitner has come up with is a way to weatherproof the latch system. This actually protrudes into the bottom of the box, and this right here is actually a weatherproof gasket. This seals it off from this hole right here. Really nice touches, very, very quality. Now let's talk compatibility. The Leitner brackets are compatible with Prinsu, Frontrunner, Sherpa, any rack that uses this T-slot kind of extrusion. And here I am with my Prinsu rack. I had to move one bar a little bit further forward just to make everything fit nice and tight. There are some pretty tight tolerances for these brackets. However, there's a lot of adjustability in it as well, so it's kind of a good mix. Mounting these Leitner mounting plates for the Gearpod is super simple. All you have to do is have a 31 and 3/16 gap between these points here going this way, and then a 25 and 0.5 inch gap between these points going this way. And all you're doing is lining up the holes and mounting. It's very simple. Then you use the included hardware and mount it right up. Now, mounting these base plates is not difficult. However, there are some things you need to know. One is the Gearpods come with some really nice mounting hardware from Leitner. However, with my Prinsu rack, it is not compatible, the hardware itself. In the directions, it says that there's a lot of compatibility, cross-compatibility with different rack systems, such as Sherpa, Prinsu, a bunch of other rack companies. However, the hardware may not be compatible, which is an issue that I ran into because mine is not. What I had to do is run out to my local Ace Hardware, and I picked up these quarter 20 carriage bolts, and these are the perfect profile for a Prinsu rack. They slide right into these channels, which will allow me to mount the base plates. And this is actually what Leitner recommends. I reached out to them, and they recommend these quarter 20 carriage bolts by 3/4 inch length, which should be a perfect fit. Let's find out. First impressions of the Gearpod mounted up on the truck here is it's really sturdy. I mean, just trying to get this thing to move just moves the entire truck. It is really nice. The latch mechanism on the lid here is very easy to close. The latches themselves are very, very smooth. One other cool feature on the top here, they actually have divoted where you can drill the holes out for max tracks or roto packs. They are templated out so that you can mount all your favorite accessories. The taco out of the shop and out here in the sun, it is a big box. But again, that means a lot of storage. Let's see what we can fill it up with. Start with this tarp. My K72 kinetic rope. These are the bridges and the straps for my exit tracks, which are just kind of a mess. I really need to get a bag for these. A couple soft shackles and some roller cam straps. And I think this right here is more applicable to this type of box. My rifle case, everything was in foam and it could just sit in there and it was kind of squished in, wasn't going anywhere. But with this bigger box, things kind of need to be in a bag. So this is some new gear I'm testing. This is a all-top off-road accessories kinetic rope. Put that there. A tree strap. And a bunch of soft shackles and hard shackles and a recovery ring. And that will all go right in here. And of course my big breaker bar. And some more tie downs. Definitely a lot of room left in here. You can hear kind of the air push out when you close it up. And again, the best part about this is it's completely lockable, which means that everything up here is gonna be nice and secure when I'm out in the town. Be sure to watch all the way to the end of the video where I'm gonna take the taco for a drive and see if all my recovery gear in the Gearpod is gonna be loud or quiet. There are a lot of things about this Leitner Gearpod that I really like, and maybe a couple things that I don't like as much. Talk about what I like first is this thing is very high quality. Just touching and feeling it, all the injection molded plastics of whatever this is really nicely done. Everything fits immaculate. The fit and finish, every aspect of this is built with quality. The latches are very smooth and functional. The key, lockable key feature to the latch is absolutely key. The hinges on it are very nice. The shock mechanism that holds it up and assists it up and down, again, very, very high quality. The space inside of this is awesome. Like I love the interior space of this, how much you can get in here. Knowing me though, I'm gonna fill it, but right now I've got lots of room to get more kit in here. I'm probably gonna try to keep to recovery gear and trail maintenance kind of things, just so that when I'm throwing wet, dirty, muddy stuff back in here, it's all contained within this box. It's not spilling out into the bed or into the cab. I also love the bracket system that they came up with for the mounting. It is by far the easiest thing I've ever put on the Prinsu rack, including the recovery boards. I mean, it just really once I got the correct hardware, that is, it went on very easily and without hassle. And I've taken it on and off a bunch of times to get pictures and video, and it just comes off very smoothly. It's very innovative, and it's obviously patented, and it just works very, very well. Now, there are going to be two sticking points that people are going to kind of find when they're looking at the Leitner Gearpod. And the first one is going to be the size of it. Dimensionally, the interior has a ton of space, which is going to translate to a ton of exterior size. Now, it's a higher profile system. It's going to have a lot of wind noise when the wind hits it going on the road. In my personal opinion, is not a big deal. My truck makes a ton of noise. I've always had stuff on the roof rack there right overhead, and with my sunroof, I have no barrier there, so it's just loud, and I've just become accustomed to it. It might be a sticking point for someone else, but for me personally, not a big deal. And the second sticking point is going to be the price tag. $699 for the Leitner Gearpod is a big pill to swallow, no doubt. However, I personally can see where that price tag comes from. There's a lot of innovation, a lot of design. The latches, everything is super high quality. The latch system, very innovative. The shocks that hold it up and then make it go down very nicely and easily. It's lockable. The mounting platform system that goes into it. There's a lot of innovation. So I really understand where it comes from. It's not just a box you're throwing up there, putting some holes into your box and screwing it down. So a lot of innovation will equate to a higher price tag. All right, guys, I really hoped you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure that thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Stay tuned for me driving around with this thing on the truck to see how loud it is, and I will see you guys next time. Currently driving 63 miles an hour down the road here, and it is louder. I mean, there's definitely a noticeable wind movement change, but I wouldn't say it's any louder than what the rifle case was. I feel like it's kind of in that sweet spot of just wind noise and not whistling and any other kind of more intrusive noise. So it's really not bad. Now let's get into some off-road and see if everything inside bounces around and makes some noise. Driving here in the backcountry on this Forest Service road, there is a bit of noise. I can hear just the vibration of things just kind of moving around above me. It's not terrible. I'm very accustomed to that kind of noise here overlanding, but it is there and should be something to take into consideration if you are considering purchasing this. Unless you figure out a way to keep everything kind of tied down tight in that box or fill it to capacity, you're probably gonna have some noise, but you know, not a big deal to me.